Hello and welcome. I'm Carolina Morrison from the Widening Participation Unit, and my colleague Ginger De Silva, Widening Participation, is hosting today's Harmony Week event, Connected Campus Community, where we're looking at celebrating belonging, inclusion and participation. Before we officially begin, and while people are still joining us, I'll go through a few housekeeping points about today's event. First of all, please note this event will be recorded so you can later, so that we can later share it via the Harmony Week website, as well as WPU and Wellbeing websites. You'll soon meet our fabulous lineup of students who will share their experiences of engaging with different opportunities across campus and how those experiences have shaped their perceptions of belonging and their student experience. You'll also soon meet Associate Professor Taryn Jones, who has recently been appointed the Interim Vice-Chancellor of Programs and Pathways, who will lead today's discussion with our students. There will be time after the discussion for our audience to ask questions, and we ask that you please add these to the Q&A function rather than the Zoom chat, and these will be answered during the Q&A session time. And we will also, after the event, share any relevant links along with the recording. So I think that's about it. Enjoy today's discussion. And now we'll begin and launch the event with Macquarie's official Welcome to Country.
Welcome. We acknowledge the traditional custodians of Macquarie University land, the Warramargal clan of the Darug Nation, whose cultures and customs have nurtured this land since the Dreamtime. We pay our respects to elders past, present and future. We welcome people of all nations and all faiths. Kwai Bidja, Jamna Payala Janawi. Come here, we speak together. We have 60,000 years of archaeological evidence of Aboriginal habitation at Lake Mungo and 20,000 years in Ryde. We have great antiquity. Today, hundreds of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people graduate from Macquarie University. The Darug Nation had famous leaders such as Chief Yarramundi, Naraginji, Colby and Maria Locke. Many of the descendants of these Darug people live today amongst you. We celebrate with you our ongoing attachment and custodianship of this country. We celebrate the achievements of Macquarie University.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us and actively participating in building a connected community here with us today. I'd also like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which Macquarie University sits, the Darug people, and that's where I'm located today. But I'd like to extend that acknowledgement to the many diverse lands upon which you may currently be, given our connection here today expands beyond the campus. As Carolina had mentioned earlier, my name's Taryn Jones and I'm the Interim Vice-Chancellor of Programs and Pathways here at Macquarie. So I think certainly we can all agree that the past couple of years have made connection challenging across all aspects of our life. This very basic human need of connecting with others almost overnight became the one thing that instead made us vulnerable. For us as a university community, it disrupted all parts of university life. The way we learnt together changed in unrecognisable ways at a pace that, to be honest, has been quite astounding to bear witness to. But it is more than just about how classes moved online rapidly. It's also been about how we connect together as a community, how you might engage together with your peers, growing networks and friends. It's about how you might connect with staff as you navigate your journey through university courses, how you connect with the opportunities that are normally part of university life, the placements you might have taken, the extracurricular and social activities that are normally part of university, and even engaging in that basic rhythm of university life on campus, such as seeing the seasons play out as you walk down Wally's Walk. In essence, I think we can all reflect on the fact that we've become more isolated and disconnected from the many communities in which we live, learn, work and grow. And so Harmony Day this year really reminds us of the importance of community and belonging. It reminds us that as a university community, we are all here to support and encourage each other through personal and learning journeys. And community is critical for sharing ideas and promoting growth. It brings us together to solve and address challenges through collective approaches. We all belong to the Macquarie community, and the Macquarie community thrives on our participation and contribution to it. It reflects all of us. Everyone Belongs was a widening participation project from 2020, explored the theme of belonging and what it meant to members of the Macquarie learning community. Extracts of this project are being shared on social media during Harmony Week, so you might see some of those. And you can view the Library of Belonging via MQ social media and the Widening Participation website. But I'd just like to share with you a few quotes from the Everyone Belongs project that community members shared with us on what it means to belong. Belonging is acceptance of who I am. Once you belong, you can truly begin achieving. And belonging is essential for one main reason: we are always stronger together than alone. I think there's a lot of power in the words within these quotes. We are stronger and better together. Together, we are much more than the sum of our individual parts. And that's actually what lies at the heart of Macquarie's slogans that you see around campus and beyond campus, in you to the power of us. This phrase has you at the heart, but it is the us that is really the powering word. I typically like to look for silver linings in the things that challenge us, the things that we can take away or find help to shape us into stronger and better versions of ourselves. Certainly, COVID has challenged us in so many ways. But what if, from our experience of such disconnection, we now learn to value community in a way that we didn't before? What if we can find ways to connect that bridge geographical constraints, just like we're doing here today, and break down walls to connections that we didn't even consider before we became so disconnected? What if we can learn to be much more empathetic, to take time to foster the connections we took so much for granted? I really hope one day that we can look back and see that there was actually a huge amount that we gained from this time in history. Across Macquarie, there are many ways in which you can connect. Certainly myself, as a first-in-family student from a low socioeconomic community, I struggled to feel like I belonged when I started at university, very long time ago. And so I think sessions like this, which can add a richness and show some opportunities that you may not be aware of, are incredibly important. And so rather than me telling you about the many ways in which you might like to connect with your Macquarie community, joining us today, we actually have a panel of students who have participated in a diverse range of activities, opportunities and initiatives across campus. And they're here to share their experiences of engaging in campus life and what belonging to the Macquarie learning community means and feels like to them. So I'm just going to allow each student to introduce themselves rather than me doing it. So I'm going to go around and allow them to introduce themselves and share with you what initiatives they've been involved with over the years. So maybe Lennox, if you'd like to start.
Yep, no problem. So my name's Lennox Hemingway. I'm a 5th and final year Bachelor of Economics and Bachelor of Mathematical Sciences student. I guess some of the things I've been involved in on campus have included 2 exchanges. I've been extensively involved in the Global Leadership Program, and I'm currently a PAL facilitator.
Fantastic. Okay, Jaden.
Hi everyone, my name is Jaden Prakash and I've been at uni for 6 years now. Currently in my final year of my Masters of Physics. Same as Lennox. Been involved with a few things over my years here, but the primary things to flag for today have been I've been a sports scholar for the last few years for basketball, and that's actually opened a lot of pathways for me to get involved in the inclusion space. So I've been a sports ambassador for the diversity, inclusion, and belonging department at the university.
Excellent. Thanks, Jaden. Natasha.
Yama everyone, I would also like to acknowledge that we're meeting on unceded Indigenous land today. I am coming to you from the beautiful Central Coast, known locally as Darkinjung Country. I am the current president of the Indigenous Student Association at Macquarie Uni, and I have been, this is my 3rd year, so I just love the role so much. So I'm also a member of the wider Wulungamuru community, and through the last 5 years at uni, having people that I can relate to, other Indigenous students at uni to kind of bounce off and everything has been really, really amazing. So my involvement has been throughout my entire degree with the Wulungamuru community and the ISA, and I'm forever grateful for everything and the opportunities that they've given me.
Thanks, Natasha. Isabel.
Hi, I'm Isabel. So I'm now in my 3rd year of a Bachelor of Primary Education and Psychology. And I think at the beginning of my 1st year, I got involved with the Leap Words program, which was awesome. And then since then, I've done Leap Gazette and now Leap Express multiple times, which is great.
Excellent. Excellent. Thanks, Isabel. Catherine.
Hi, everyone. I'm Catherine. I'm currently in my 4th and final year studying a Bachelor of Professional Accounting in the business school. Similar to everyone else, I've tried to get involved at uni in various different programs and activities. But today I'll primarily be talking about the RightWise consultations that are available to you. So and this is my 2nd year as a RightWise leader. So
excellent. Super important. Thanks, Catherine. And Joshua.
Hi, everyone. My name is Joshua. I have just qualified after 5 years of study of marketing and psychology, having landed my dream role at Canva. I'm a youth advocate and currently serve as a New Colombo Plan alumni ambassador for our community with the Australian Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade. But really, I'm just your everyday human being. Throughout uni, I got involved quite a bit, but if I'd narrow it down, it would be immersing into the Global Leadership Program, international exchange with Macquarie International, and volunteering for causes close to my heart, whether it be advancing intercultural understanding, working with underprivileged communities, and mental health.
Excellent. And congratulations, Joshua, on finishing and landing your dream roles. That's fantastic. Congrats. Okay, so we've got some questions here, and I'll sort of share around the room, but make sure you let me know if you've got something extra to add. If I'll come back to you again if need be. But I guess the first thing often is that when students leave school or have been out of university for a while and come back into their learning journeys here at the university, a university campus can feel quite daunting. It's very different often from other environments that we might be in. So I'm just wondering how you sort of used your initiatives or the programs that you've been involved in, how that really shaped your student experience and what others might gain from participating in those initiatives. Why don't I throw to Natasha first?
So Wulungamuru and the ISA both offer a range of support services and things like that for students of all ages of Indigenous backgrounds. So there are many different programs that they can come through. We have a lot of tutoring services and stuff like that. And it's especially good for people who are coming from remote communities that are coming to the Big Smoke, and they're overwhelmed, and knowing people who have a similar upbringing, similar background to them is really important. So we just really like to meet people and make people feel really comfortable and offer a shoulder, somebody to talk to, as well as those amazing services that Wallumbilla offer.
Yeah, that's really important, isn't it? I think it is that sense of knowing, you know, that there's somewhere to go where you feel supported. And even if that's a place where you can then be facilitated to find other initiatives, I think it's a network, isn't it, sometimes? Yeah.
And it is really like a sense of belonging for those people that are coming so far away from their homes, and something that an institution like a university is very, very different to what they know back home, and those services and people to talk to and people they mightn't have met otherwise, and pathways that they can go down to take back home to their communities as well is really important.
Yeah. Lennox, I can see you nodding there. What would you like to add?
Yeah, so that resonated with me. So I guess my path to university was a bit left field. So I came through the Macquarie University International College through a pathway program into my bachelor's degree. So when I actually, matriculated into my bachelor's degree, I was, I had some semblance of a high school education, but there was huge gaps in my knowledge everywhere. So I was, truth be told, very overwhelmed. But I guess I used services like campus wellbeing and numeracy centre. And I guess what I took away from that is my position wasn't unique. There was 20, 30 other people in their first semester experiencing the same things. And I guess it gave you for lack of a better phrase, a sense of belonging with others here at Macquarie, because they were going through exactly.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, is that sometimes our challenges can unite us just as much as, you know, the more positive things. I wonder if, Catherine, from thinking about RightWise, whether you've got something to sort of add on to what Lennox is speaking to.
Yes, thanks, Taryn, definitely. So even when I was a first year student, I know I definitely used the RightWise service. I did come straight from high school, but you know, there are some additional expectations that you'll come across at university in terms of, you know, maybe how to structure an essay might be different to what you did at school, or knowing, like, you know, how to use various different referencing styles. So in terms of academic writing, you know, I personally utilize the RightWise program, and even today as a RightWise leader, we have students, both undergraduate and postgraduate, coming to us. And yeah, a lot are first years, which is great. But we do have, anyone is able to come. We're always happy to provide some guidance, and just make sure that you're being well supported during your time at university.
Yeah, thanks, Catherine. It's important. Academic writing is not always the easiest of tasks, is it? Joshua, I'm wondering if you might be able to reflect now, looking back, having gone through the whole journey and out the other end.
100%. Actually, can I say, despite the intros, everyone starts somewhere. For me, I did not have the best guitar. Through high school, I was going through some major life challenges, but I was able to articulate into my degree through a scheme that looked into the marks of each of the subjects to high school. And so for me, starting uni was a major life transition. There was new people, new atmospheres, new processes, and it definitely was something to adjust to. And I was a bit shy, actually, often sitting at the back of the class and theatres. But what made it easier over time was getting involved in activities that I was interested in. And so for starters, clubs and societies was a great place to find community with shared passions. Being a newbie, I heard about mentoring programs, which I participated, and enabled me to draw on the wisdom of others to take my student experience to the next level, and also making many use of services early on available, like careers and employment and well-being, because come on, humans are not machines. And that eventually built over time to doing programs that put me out of my comfort zone, like exchange, public speaking gigs to empower others, and big events. And that's something that really unfolded over time. So overall, these initiatives helped me to build relationships and understand people from various walks of life. and really refine a clearer path of what I want to do after uni to pursue meaningful work that reflects who I am, which I acknowledge will be different for everyone here today.
Yeah, absolutely. Some wise words, Joshua. Isabel, wondering if you can add something to that.
Yeah, so when I started, my first year was 2020, which was the beginning of, everything awful. And I got about 3 weeks into my first semester and then we had to go home. And I didn't get much of a university experience. I didn't see the campus. And I came back in semester 2 and I saw on the education communications island thing about this great opportunity for writing with kids. And I went, I really want to try that. And I got in, and the Leap Words program run by the Widening Participation Unit was so great. I got to interact with rural students who needed help with writing. I got to meet more students from campus. I think I was actually the youngest there. There were lots of third-year students. I got to hear about their experiences. It just helped me so much because I felt like I didn't get anything at the beginning of my year because I started at such a weird time. And so just going in, being able to write and gain confidence, just ever since then, I've been able to speak up in class. I feel like I can actually write things and talk to people. And it's just given me so much to my experience. And I feel more connected to the uni and to the campus, definitely.
Yeah, that's great. I'm glad you had that experience after such a challenging start to university life. Yeah. And Jayden, sport is such a connector oftentimes, but certainly became very challenging through COVID. But I'm wondering if you can speak to how that's helped to shape your experiences.
Yeah, for sure. Sport is a really big social part and a big part of, I think, feeling included for a lot of people, especially when you're coming to, such a new environment like university. It's daunting for everyone. For me personally, I was very much the kind of kid who came to uni and went, look, I want to come here, get my studies done, and then I'll go home and worry about, my outside of uni social life and sport and things to do with that. So that's pretty much what my first semester and first year looked like. And, it wasn't as fulfilling as I probably would have liked it. And then, I had some good circumstances fall on me. I had some people approach me and say, hey, come try and get involved in this and work your way in the sporting area. And it has, brought me to so many other areas outside of sport. So for example, like I mentioned before, I started off being a sports scholar. That got me to go to nationals and play with, a lot of other athletes, obviously built connections and felt included that way. But then it brought on opportunities like getting involved with the sports ambassador program, where I've done a lot of work with increasing the inclusion and exposure of the LGBTQI+ community at the university. Worked with a lot of staff members there, and it obviously I've seen the effects of helping that community and the inclusivity of all of them increasing a load. But it's makes me feel a lot more included in the environment. When you see that all people, no matter what their background or history or whatever it is, can come together in a group and feel good in a university setting. It's encouraging, for myself. It makes me feel more confident when I'm going around the place. So sport has definitely been a great gateway for me. If there are any athletes here today, I very much encourage getting involved with it because, for one, sport's awesome. You meet a bunch of people, you learn a lot of good qualities. But two, if you do get the chance to then get involved with the staff members around the university and in the sporting department, they are some of the best staff members you can work with. I'm obviously quite biased, but they're a big reason why I've been so involved and why I've been able to see so much, and I think help quite a few people.
Excellent. And so, Jayden, just while I've got you, because you mentioned it. So, how do people find out about the initiatives that are on offer? Because if people are wanting to get involved, so you sort of touched on that, how would they find out or engage with that?
Yeah, look, there's been a lot of work over the past few years to try and get that exposure pushed out to students a lot more. Admittedly, it's not perfect yet. So, I've been at uni for 6 years now, and some of these programs, I'm hearing about, I'm only sort of hearing today. And it will involve a little bit of research on your behalf. Jump on the Macquarie website, chat to some people who you're studying with about it all. But there definitely is a lot more work going into trying to get exposure on a lot of these programs. So, the people at uni have been around for a while. If you feel like you're secluded for whatever reason or not comfortable, there is probably a program at the university for you. It may just be a matter of finding it. But yeah, honestly, some other great examples would be if you guys were able to get to O Week. I know that's done now, but that gives you a lot of great exposure. Head to the Student Connect area in Muse and just chat to some of the people there about anything you have a concern about. They're connected with literally everything that goes on at the university. But yeah, if you're looking for a program or feel like you'd find some assistance in anything to do with that or want to get involved at all, that's probably the best way to jump on it. And then hopefully over the coming years, it gets pushed a little bit more.
Yeah, that's really great advice. And Student Connect is what it's about in its name, is connecting people, students with where it is that they're wanting or needing to go. Yeah. Who else would want to add something to the various programs? Natasha, yeah.
Just on that, I know I'm not an athlete, but social sport is a really good way to meet people. I played a lot of netball growing up and my knees gave out on me. That's another story. But social sport is a really, really good way to meet people, hang out and do something, get your body moving. I played a lot of social sport in my first year. And I played with a Wollongomaroo team. So that strengthened those bonds that were already there with a shared connection to community and culture and histories and knowledges. But you're pushing that a little further by playing on a court with people and seeing a different side of people as well. But yeah, that's another way. And they do that at the gym. I haven't played in a while, but I hope that they're still running now that things are slightly back to normal. But yeah, as Jaden said, O Week is a massive part of meeting people and walking around and seeing what there is that uni offers for people who are social beings, which I think everybody should be, but that's beside the point. So walking around O Week and meeting people from different societies. And then we in session 2, there's O Week as well. So you can, if you've missed out on session 1, you can go to session 2, and it's super fun. And it's just a really say fun again, but it's just a really exciting and really engaging space to be in and meeting new people. And as an executive of a student committee, I still walk around and talk to everybody at the stalls. I'm in my 5th year of study, so I just love it. You just go around and meet new people and it's really exciting. But yeah.
Excellent. Lennox and Catherine, you sort of have touch points with some of the academic initiatives as well, don't you, Pal? I think you mentioned Lennox and Rightwise. How do students find out about those programs?
I'm happy to go first.
Yeah.
Well, for Rightwise, there's a few different ways that you can, I guess, find out about us, in addition to O Week and those publications. But I know when I was a first year, I got involved with, as a student, I got involved with the mentoring program. And so you're paired up with a buddy who's a current student. They really help with not just kind of supporting you, but they, I guess, inform you of all the different services that Macquarie offers. So I know Rightwise, and I know Pal also was mentioned in some of those weekly emails. But yeah, in addition to that, sometimes in the weekly student newsletters that go out, some of these services will be mentioned. But, if there is something in particular, like academic writing, that you're like, oh, I just don't know where to go. If you just go into Google and write MQ support or MQ study support or whatever you're having problems with, usually you'll find a direct link to the associated services that might be able to benefit you.
Yeah, fantastic. Lennox?
Yeah, so Catherine, thanks for that. You've touched on pretty much all the points. For PAL specifically, we have a Facebook page which will post all the updates and what units it's available for. And there's also an iLearn page that you can self-enroll into, and it'll again provide all the information that you need. But I guess moreover, generally if a PAL unit is available for a course you're taking, it'll be on one of the announcements, because as a PAL facilitator, it's our job to engage with every student in a course, not just a select group. And to achieve that, I guess we coordinate with the UC and make sure that everyone is aware of it.
Yeah, fantastic. And then Isabel, you touched on the programs that are on through Widening Participation specifically. How did you find out about those?
Yeah, so that was in my first year. Because I'm doing my Bachelor of Primary Education, I was on the education communications page on iLearn actually. And I just saw it as an announcement because lots of people post like casual teaching opportunities on there if you're in later years of your degree. And I saw that, and I was actually writing an application for a scholarship at the time. And so I put all that writing into my expression of interest, and I wrote that and got in there. So there's ways like that. If you're in education, you can go on that page. We have Instagram page. I talk to all like people I meet. I go, hey, have you heard about this? I want to make sure everyone, gets the opportunity. All my education classmates in my classes, so you can do things like that. So many ways to get a hold of them. Yeah, fantastic. And Josh, you touched on the Global Leadership Program, which I think is a fantastic program as well. How did you find out about that, and how can people find out more about that program?
Actually, prior to getting into uni, I attended one of the uni in a day. And so the session, I was just, really inspired. And so, having immersed quite extensively in the program, it's as simple as signing up through, we call it the GLP Thrive.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially you attend like an introduction session. And then once you've done that, you've got, a platform that enables you to access so many opportunities. So there's one stream where we have colloquiums, which are these educational learning sessions that across a broad range of fields can definitely expand your perspectives and mindsets in global leadership, as well as opportunities in the community, whether it be volunteering, whether it be attending conferences, summits, to things. I found so many things that I never knew existed out there. And so that has been a transformative experience.
Yeah, fantastic. I've seen other students pass through some of the programs that you've described today. And I think transformative is a great word to sort of speak to in this, is that it does enrich, doesn't it, your university experiences, and it builds in those additional skills that that sit sort of maybe outside your courses, but can enhance your prospects post university, your employability, and just the way you engage with the wider community. It really is transformative. Yeah, fantastic word. I'm just wondering, what if you sort of, I suppose, if we could sort of sum it up to what is the most valuable thing that you've taken away from the program, and what does it mean to belong? How do you describe belonging, and what has the program given you in regards to that level of connection? I don't know who wants to go first, picking people out of the room. Joshua.
Yeah. So first of all, so many things. I felt like I was able to build genuine connections and friends with my peers throughout my studies, which made it so much easier when I experienced roadblocks and challenges throughout my uni journey. It has definitely built my confidence and competence as a leader. I'd also, in reflection, say an appreciation for cultural diversity. The realization that the world is bigger than oneself and overall become a good human. And so alongside the educational opportunities I was presented here at Macquarie, I'm proud to share that on the note of transformation, that it has transformed my story as someone who didn't have a head start in life, coming from a low SES background and early lived experiences with poverty, to now making massive strides to doing what I do today. So for me, belonging is being able to stay true to who I am, what I stand for, and bringing my full self, especially in the value and impact I wish to create as a lifelong learner and in the work that I do.
Yeah, such inspirational words, Joshua. Yeah, really, really good. What else? What does belonging mean to others? Isabel.
So to me, I just feel like it means to feel like you're comfortable and be safe and you have a voice and you can use it. So I feel like with these programs I've been doing, I found my voice and I'm, not afraid to speak up. I can share my thoughts without being shy, because first year is hard and uni is huge compared to high school. It's a big shock. And I just found that, being able to be creative and talking to other students and hearing their experiences, it just made me feel more connected to the campus and to like everyone else there. So I feel like that really helped my sense of belonging.
Yeah, absolutely. It is that feeling that you feel safe in this space, isn't it? That's a really important aspect of belonging. Catherine, do you want to add to that?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely agree with Joshua and Isabel. But yeah, I guess for me, at Macquarie, everyone is just like so supportive and inclusive. I've also felt like that, I can just be who I really am, which is important to me. And of course, become a better me while contributing, helping others. But yeah, with that other aspect, in addition to belonging, I know like when I first started uni, I was so nervous coming out of high school. I was like, oh no, like, this is all new. I don't know what the expectations are going to be. But yeah, by engaging in, the various services and opportunities at Macquarie, it definitely helped boost my confidence and made me feel really well supported and helped me to settle in.
Yeah, great. I'm glad it gave you that. Jayden, you sort of have touched on belonging to a number of different groups while you've been here. How's that? What's that sort of add to your experience of belonging?
Oh, heaps. Like I said from the start, I didn't come into uni to expect to do any of this. And now that I'm sort of at the end of my uni career, I look back at it and go, being included and feeling like I've belonged has been the best thing for me. I've been able to obviously develop skills, be able to communicate to a broad range of different people, from students to alumni to staff members, and it's also benefited me in a bunch of other ways I didn't expect. Employment opportunities for when I finish up, and connections of all sorts for once I finish and leave the uni. So it's been incredible. And I think for anyone who is watching and anyone who's new and doesn't really know how to get started or what to do, I don't think many of us did either. Sometimes it is just a matter of falling into it. So don't wait for everything to be perfect. Just sort of reach out, chat to anyone, chat to any of us, contact. I'm happy to leave my contact details and things at the end for anyone who has any questions. But yeah, find a community that you feel comfortable chatting to. Head down and chat to some staff members, jump on in, and then give it a couple of years' time. It'll only blossom from there, and you'll definitely walk out better for it.
Yeah, I think that's really wise words. It is taking that step. I was told once by someone who became a mentor of mine that sometimes it's just about stepping through that door. The door opens, just step through it. Sometimes you've got to find the door to do a little bit of work, but it's stepping through, and then a whole world sort of can open up. Yeah. Lennox, what do you want to add to this about belonging?
So I'll probably, I guess, continue on with that vein of thought of actually stepping through the door. So I guess what belonging means to me and belonging to Macquarie University is it's facilitated meeting a whole lot of like-minded people. And through that, I guess it's helped me develop the confidence that when those doors and opportunities present, you're going to step through. And once you actually have stepped through, that is when you start, I guess, reaping the rewards and achieving, but not achieving alone. You often are with other people here at Macquarie too.
Yeah, I think that's really important. Absolutely. Natasha, you've got a leadership role in that's sort of come around because of your willingness.
Yeah. So for me, like belonging is finding your people. Like I have been so blessed. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna get really emotional. Like with the people that I have met in like the last 5 years have been like life-changing, honestly, and really have found my people that I will be friends with even if they don't want to be friends with me till the end of time. But yeah, so my role as president didn't come naturally, I guess. There wasn't like a progression, like you start out like a little fish and you end up in the position. We had a change in leadership within the committee, and then somebody had to leave for personal reasons. And they're like, oh, Tash, you do it. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, so finding my feet and like as a confident person, becoming more comfortable with being confident. I think that that's something that has really flourished in my time in the ISA. And yeah, finding my people, making great friends and like-minded people who you can have chats with about anything, and like really, really good organic friendships that you have, like that you can carry for the rest of your life. I think that's really important.
Yeah, it's really nice that you've got that is going to extend on with you beyond your university.
Yeah. And they've like some people that I've made friends with at uni have finished, and it's not like we're forced into being friends anymore because we go to the same uni, and like it's just those relationships will keep coming.
Yeah, fantastic. And Wayne in the group notions you're great.
Thanks, Wayne.
Great to see. So it's certainly been observed. So I'm going to let's sort of finish off and allow for any questions. But I'm wondering if there's any sort of I suppose we can finish with either a really great memory that you've got from belonging and being part of the MQ community, or words of advice that you'd like to offer as sort of a last passing word to the group. Who'd like to go first? I'll put it, Isabel.
So I have a really specific memory of when I felt the most like connected to campus. It was actually a few weeks ago when I was helping out at the Widening Participation Unit O-Week stall. And I just found that so much fun. I don't know why, but I'm usually not one that likes to be, approached by random people on campus, or that likes to talk and, try and be confident and advertise things. But it was usually me on shifts with another person that was part of the WPU team. And I just connected with them. I was able to get to know them better when I hadn't seen them before. And it was also a strange feeling because as I haven't been on campus much lately, I suddenly looked around and noticed that everyone there was 2-3 years younger than me and just starting out like I was. And I just, I really could feel for them and feel like the position they were in. And they all kept coming up to us, even if it wasn't for the purpose of our stall. They were asking for directions. And I just felt like I was really a part of the uni. And, because people go, oh yeah, I'm at Macquarie Uni, everyone's there. But I really felt like it was my uni. I was a part of it. I could help out people. And it was just a really great day.
Yeah, that's fantastic. O-Week this year was just so much fun. It was so great to see, wasn't it? It was just for a staff member having been on campus sometimes when there was literally no one else here at times. It was so great to see so many people back on campus. So yeah, absolutely. Who else wants to share some final thoughts, words? Yeah, Natasha?
Similar to Isabel, I had a moment of like, oh my gosh, this is so great. I was walking to class a couple of weeks ago, and this girl comes up to me and goes, hi. And I was like, oh, hello. She goes, oh, you're from ISA. I was like, yeah, I am. And she goes, oh, you guys were so great at O Week. Like, it was so nice to meet you guys. I'm going, oh, that's so nice. Like, it was really uplifting. She's like, oh, I've seen you guys on TikTok. I was like, oh my goodness, that's so amazing. So like finding people who are like similar interests and have similar like wants and values and that kind of thing is really, really amazing. And I think that through like a lot of us with the pathways and things that we've come through, meeting people who are like us is beautiful and amazing. And my like piece of advice would be, don't be afraid to try something new. Don't be afraid to test the waters. Don't be afraid to have a go. What's the worst that could happen? You don't like it? Move on to something else. Like, it's not the end of the world to try something and it not go the way that you wanted it to go. And you could try something that you're like, oh, maybe I don't want to do that. And it could be like the most amazing thing ever. So yeah, just don't be afraid to try. That's my little piece of advice.
Yeah, I think that's a really great piece of advice, because you're exactly right. What's the worst that can happen? It's not for you, and you're exactly right. You find something else, you know. Absolutely. At least you've given it a go. Anyone else? Last words. Lennox, anything from you?
Yeah, I guess I guess what I would say is this journey here at Macquarie is a transformation, and to make sure you get the most out of it, it's like everyone has echoed here today. Put your hand up. Don't be afraid to look silly. It's a very inclusive and welcoming environment, and I can say I've had my fair share of moments where I've gone, oh, did I really just embarrass myself like that? But again, I'm still here. I'm still loving my time here at Macquarie. And best of luck. Yeah.
I think that's really wise words too, Lennox. I think it is true. Not everyone is as together as they maybe look, and that's staff included. I'd just like to sort of shout out. So it's not always just the students who are finding their feet, it can be your staff sometimes as well, also sort of looking to belong to a community as well. Yeah. Joshua stuck his hands up.
Yeah. On this discussion, I'd also like to point out the fact that we're coming out of the pandemic, and COVID has shown us how important our community is. It's shown us that different people respond and seek belonging in different ways, and it starts with people and relationships. So overall, based on my experience and immersing into the hybrid way of things, alongside how great it is to be back on campus, I think a way we can foster environments where people feel like they belong is setting conditions where it can be collaborative and compassionate with a sense of purpose and kindness, which I'm still figuring out with the NCP initiative.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, I think that's really important. Catherine, Jayden, anything sort of to add to that?
You go first, Catherine.
Okay, thank you. In terms of my advice to all the students, and this is similar to pretty much what everyone else has said, but honestly, just participate in as much as you can. University, it's going to go so quickly, and you really want to make the most of it, and meet new people that are like you and feel like you fit in, and just grow as an individual. So just don't be afraid to do something new, and really utilize all the services and groups that are available to you.
Yeah, I think that's really important to just point out as well, Catherine, like you said, is as a university, there are so many things more than just your course that are available to you. And often it is, quite often I've sort of seen students who have been at a point of time where they've had challenges, or that something is really challenging them in various aspects of their life. And there are so many services available, and the student portal on the website has a huge amount of services that you can tap into and make sure you're reaching out before things, get too hard. So yeah, whether it's support with academic study skills, whether it's support for personal well-being, all of those kind of things, Student Connect can help to connect you with those things. So making sure that, it is a wider community that is designed a bit like a family to support you, not just get you from A to B in your course, but to do more than that. Yeah. Jaden, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, to keep it short and sweet, you're in the right place. At university, you're around like-minded people, whether that be what you're studying or what your other interests are. And it is quite easy to find people who are like-minded in that way. That's for university as a whole, particularly Macquarie University. Macquarie, compared to some other universities, are far ahead in terms of our inclusion programs and the actual communities that we create inside to allow people to get closer. So take the advice that everyone's given you today, because you're in the right place to implement it and get something out of it.
Yeah, I think that's it's a good thing to point out, Jaden, because certainly my experience from Macquarie as a staff member, obviously different than it as a student, but my student experience at a different university when I was, and granted it was a long time ago, couldn't have been further than what I sort of can see for students experiencing here. It certainly wasn't quite as warm and welcoming and inclusive, that's for sure. Yeah. Okay, so we've just got one question that's come through, and I'm aware of time, so I might just throw this out and sort of see if anyone's got a quick answer for it. It's just, did you feel that, certainly we know we moved to COVID and on to online learning, and did that have an impact on your sense of belonging, or were some of these initiatives, maybe ways that were, that enabled you to sort of cope with the challenges of that? Has anyone got something they'd like to add on? Natasha?
So the COVID shutdown to me was a blessing in disguise. It enabled people to come together in a way that people that needed help reached out for help, rather than kind of just letting the motions of everything kind of take over. And in that, we as the community in the ISA, with the executive last year in particular, we became so close. A really good group of people who are able to work together and just really get stuff done, because we knew that was what we needed to do. Whereas when pre-COVID and now things are getting back to normal, other things are coming up and other things are happening, and that sense of belonging now has to disperse over multiple different things. Whereas back when we were completely online, it was a lot of we'll just get this done, which to me was kind of good. It meant that my procrastination levels were not as high as they usually are, because I couldn't go to Kmart and wander around for hours. But doing that kind of stuff made it easier with such a good group of people through the ISA, made belonging whilst you weren't physically with people but virtually with people really, really strong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. Anyone else got anything to add to that? I can add one thing. I think that COVID and moving online also did was, all of a sudden we were all in our homes, and there were pets and there were children appearing in the back scenes of, certainly my kids like to make an appearance every now and then in class, and we got to see everyone's pets and gardens and different things as they moved around, and I think it did give a slightly different humanistic perspective in some ways. So we may have been 2D on Zoom, but we got a whole different perspective of each other's lives as we learned together, staff and students. So yeah, it's a different form of belonging probably. Okay, so I'd like to thank all of our student panelists for such great insights and such a diverse array of different initiatives and programs that have been on display here, and people at different points. Isabel, you talked about your experience as first year, and Josh right at the end, and now experiencing the real world beyond university. So thank you all for your time and your energy, and yeah, all the best. I might hand back over to Carolina there to sort of finish up the session for everybody.
Thanks, Taryn. It was so heartwarming to hear all your contributions. Thank you so much for that. I will be sharing, I will actually reach out and get some links from you all so that we can post those up individually and separately on the Harmony Week website, as well as I do encourage everybody to go and have a look, and really just reiterate just a couple more points. Just get involved. Belong. You do belong, and just make that step towards walking through the door and just enjoy it. So thank you, everyone.